my lovely darlings to my channel. Today it's another video, and today actually I decided to do something, a continuation of what I started before, and I already made a video about wine. This was like a basic knowledge about wine, how to read a label, this kind of things. If you didn't see that video, this was actually quite a long time ago, so I'm going to put a link on the top. But I think the continuation of and learning about alcohol drinks is to get some kind of knowledge about champagne. And today we're going to actually talk about champagne, how to read the label, what is really champagne, what is the difference between champagne and, let's say, prosecco. And I think it's just going to be interesting to talk a little bit more about alcohol, because it is one of the most elegant. Champagne was associated from 17th to 19th century with royalties. So I think you can't really find a drink that it's actually more posh than champagne. Basically, champagne is a sparkling wine, but what is quite important to know, and what sometimes people might get confused about, is that champagne is a sparkling wine, but not every sparkling wine is going to be a champagne. So like prosecco, like cava, that are really lovely sparkling wines, and if you want to save yourself a little bit money, then you could go for any of those, and it's still going to taste really wonderful. However, if you want to drink a champagne, then there are some rules that need to be followed to actually a sparkling wine to be called champagne. We're going to talk about those as well, so you know about those. Overall, sparkling wines are saturated with molecules of carbon dioxide, which basically makes them fuzzy and bubbly, and that's why we like those type of beverages, because they give you this kind of bubbly. The bubbles makes you even, I think, drunk quicker than if you would drink a normal wine. Sparkling wines basically are made all over the world. You know, the rules is that you can make them everywhere. It is about, you know, adding the gas to the bottle to make it sparkling. However, as I'm saying, to be able to produce a champagne, the sparkling wine need to be produced in a region in the north of France that it's actually called Champagne, and there are some rules that need to be followed. Those strict rules describe how the production need to be made when it comes to sparkling wine, but also what kind of grapes need to be used. So there's a list of 7 grapes that they can be used for champagne. There are 3 the most popular that actually are included in this one, but we will get to that. However, when it comes to production, the traditional method involves 2 rounds of basically preparing the wine. Methods of fermentation. One is in a tank or in the barrel, and the second one is in a bottle itself. And a bottle fermentation imbues the wine with characteristic fine and persistent bubbles. In bottle fermentation is followed by minimum aging period of 15 months in contact with dead yeast cells. When it comes to grapes, this, for example, this champagne, you're going to have most of the time, almost always, you're going to have, it's actually over here, description of what kind of percentage of the grapes is in the wine. This one has Pinot Noir 50%, Chardonnay 35%, and Pinot Meunier, I think that's how you call it, 15%. But as I said, there are 7 in total. There is 7 different grapes that can be used to actually produce champagne. The other one are Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Petit Meunier, and Arbonnais. I hope I'm saying those names correct, but if you are French and I am really not saying that correct, then I apologize. Sparkling wines are produced worldwide, so you can buy them basically everywhere. The name champagne actually is protected, so that's why not every brand can use champagne, only the wine that is actually produced in Champagne region. And what I wanted to say, the law a little bit changed from, I think after 2004, if I remember correct, no, before 2006, some of the champagne that was produced in United States still has a name of champagne because the wine was produced before that date, before the law has changed. However, after, so you can sometimes see champagne of California or something like this. So it's going to clarify that it's really it is champagne because the law before actually allowed to use the name. However, they need to be specify what is the region of where is the wine coming from, basically. So like champagne of California. However, after 2006, rules has changed, and companies that just started producing wine after that period cannot use word champagne anymore. Most of the standard sizes of the bottles is basically this one, 750 milliliters, or you can also find a bottle that is 1.5 liter. However, there are bigger bottles. You know, you can find even smaller bottles, bigger bottles, but those two, 1.5 and 750 milliliters, are the most popular. What is quite interesting, you didn't maybe know that, because those are actually very small details. When it comes to cork of champagne, only the lower section of the cork made this from the top quality cork. When it comes to serving champagne, very popular, very often you can see that it's served in a bucket of cold water or a bucket of ice. Ideal drinking temperature is from 7 to 9 degrees Celsius degrees, that's how we say it. It's about 45 to 48 Fahrenheit. I'm actually going to open a bottle of champagne today with you and show you how to actually hold the glass and how to open the bottle. But basically, the most elegant way to open it is to reduce the spilling or spraying champagne all over. So it's not really something what they do on Formula or any other sports, that they spraying the champagne on people. And the most elegant way actually is to do it very quiet. And to do it, the idea is to basically hold the bottle in the right angle. But as I'm saying, I will be trying to show you that. I'm not an expert, so it might not work. I have only one bottle of champagne to try. But it's not the end of the world that champagne is going to have some sound when you open it. It's just the idea not to really spray. Don't make a big mess when you do it. So you basically don't want the cork to fly all over the room or hit someone, because that's just not really elegant. So the sobrier can be used to open a bottle of champagne. It's going to be very like a ceremonial type of basically technique. When it comes to pouring the champagne into the glass, it's basically the idea that you don't want to touch the bottle. The bottle shouldn't touch a glass. You should hold the glass at an angle and pour and basically slide the liquid on the side of the glass of champagne, just to prevent as well to create lots of bubbles. Champagne is a symbol of elegance. Champagne is a symbol of a refined taste. There are actually different type of champagne glasses, and I would like to talk about this a little bit as well. One of the glasses is champagne coupe, and it's very like a classic type of glass, I would say, very like vintage looking type of glass. The glasses are very shallow, broad rim. It's actually one of the oldest variation of glasses, champagne glass. When it comes to drinking champagne from this glass, it's actually not the best glass that actually exists for champagne. It's very shallow, as I said. And despite that, actually, the glass is used often on weddings, on some kind of parties, birthday parties, even sometimes in the restaurants. The glass doesn't have, because how the glass is built, the taste of the champagne is not going to fully develop. Another glass of champagne is Tulip. This is actually one of the most unique. It's unique because of its shape. It has a narrow top and a wider bore, and also has a sharp edges which prevent spilling the champagne all over, and also helps because of the shape. It also helps to develop the aroma of the champagne. Another glass you can find, it's I think one of the most popular, it's Flute. It's a tall, narrow glass, and it also, because it also actually helps to preserve carbonation. Very popular glass, you can find as well on weddings. You know, I think all of those, both of the glasses of Flute and coupe, they are more popular rather than Tulip. But as I'm saying, Tulip and Flute are going to have they're going to develop the taste of the champagne better rather than coupe. But you know, the choice is really yours, what kind of glass you like. When it comes to the label, name of the brand basically, so this one is Champagne Lanson, and the year that the brand was created, and it's 1760. Then you have a type of the champagne, and this one is actually a brut, which is quite popular champagne, type of champagne. You can find as well, it's actually over here, but sometimes you will find on the label here the name of the house that actually produced the champagne, and this one is Maison Fonde well, I guess it's Fonde mean that it was founded, yeah. Maison is the name of the house. It was founded in 1760. In France, Reims, France, on the end. So that's basically the, I would guess, a village and the country. Many times you can find it over here, but it's actually on the top. On the back, you're going to have a little bit more details. Let me show you this way. So you're going to have how long, what kind of grapes. This is something what we already talked about. 750 milliliters, and also a percentage. So it's 12.5 voltage. Harvest base 2016. Those are basically explained here, so I'm not going to go through that. There's also a category of vintage and not vintage champagne. For champagne to be vintage, it must be made entirely from the grape harvest in the same year. Most champagnes are not vintage. This means that they mix several different vintages rather than harvest, basically. It's actually done to prevent if there was a year that the harvest was not really great, then when you actually mix different one, it's going to taste better. A vintage champagne will be at least 3 years old, cannot be sold before then. They are also more expensive. Okay, I think that's it when it comes to like talking about champagne. Those are the basics that I think it's good to know. You don't need to go exactly which grape has more sweeter, which grape has more sour taste, because I think that's just the details we don't really need to know. However, those basics are great to know. Let me know what do you think about this video. I'm also going to show you how to open champagne and how to pour it into the glass and how to hold the glass, because that's something that many times you can straight away see if someone knows about wine or not on how they holding the glass. And you shouldn't hold the bowl, you should always hold the leg of the glass.